You know, a revolution isn't something that's on the way. It's already here. In fact, it's being manufactured. Right now, on a factory floor in California, a totally new kind of worker is rolling off the assembly line. And believe me, it's about to change, well, pretty much everything we think we know about work, technology, and the future itself.
For more than 100 years, the factory floors kind of look the same, right? You've got people and machines all working side by side. But that whole partnership, that fundamental idea, is on the edge of a massive, seismic shift. And it's all being driven by one of the boldest tech projects happening anywhere in the world. 1 million. Now, that's not how many cars Tesla's planning to build. No, that's the yearly production goal for their newest worker. A worker that doesn't need to sleep, never gets tired, and get this, it learns new skills every single second of every day. So what in the world is Tesla actually building? And why could it end up being their most important product ever? All right, let's get into it. Okay, so here's the headline. Tesla has set a target January 21st, 2026. That's the day they plan to start mass production of their humanoid robot, the Optimus Gen 3. This is the moment it stops being a cool demo or a concept and becomes a real product, rolling right off the line. So yeah, what used to be pure science fiction is now a manufacturing reality. We've officially crossed the line from just research and development into full-blown production. And that, right there, is a huge milestone for robotics and for AI. Let's break it down real simple. Tesla, the car company, is now building humanoid robots at its Fremont factory. And the goal? The whole point is to have them take over the dangerous, repetitive, and heavy-lifting jobs that make up so much of manual labor today. But what is an Optimus robot really? I mean, what can it do? And how is it actually designed to work in our world, potentially right alongside us? The key phrase to remember here is general purpose. See, this isn't just some robotic arm bolted to the factory floor. By making it humanoid, by making it look like us, Tesla's making sure it can just walk into a world that's built for humans. It can use our tools, work at our tables, all without having to completely redesign the entire environment around it. And when you look at the specs, you can see it's really designed to be a human-scale worker. It's about 5'7", 125 pounds, and it can lift about 44 pounds. But the killer feature, honestly, is the battery life, 10 to 12 hours. That's enough to cover an entire factory shift on just a single charge. Now this is the real game changer. Degrees of freedom is just a fancy way of saying how many ways a joint can move. With 22 of them in its hands alone, Optimus can basically mimic the dexterity of a human hand. We're talking turning a screwdriver, picking up a tiny screw, or handling really delicate parts with incredible precision. So how does it know what to do? Well, the secret isn't actually in its hands, it's in its brain. And, hey, if you've been following Tesla at all, you're already familiar with the core tech here. It's the same kind of AI that powers their self-driving cars. Think of it like this. Tesla spent years and billions of dollars teaching a computer how to see the world with 8 cameras and then drive a car. Now, they've taken that same computer brain, they've put it into a brand new body, and they're teaching it to drive a pair of legs and arms. The goal is exactly the same: navigate a complex human world safely. And this all happens in this constant, super fast loop. First, the cameras see the world. Then the AI brain processes all that data, and it plans an action like, okay, I need to pick up that box. The neural network then learns from what happens, getting a little bit better every single time. And finally, 28 little motors, they're called actuators, carry out the command. It's see, think, learn, act, over and over again. So while Tesla's grabbing all the headlines, you've got to know they are definitely not alone. This whole announcement is really just one big move in a massive, high-stakes technology race that is heating up all across the globe. And here's exactly why everyone's jumping in. The market for these humanoid robots is predicted to grow by an explosive 30 to 40% every single year through 2030. This isn't some niche product. Analysts see this as the next huge technology platform. And this race is being run with totally different strategies. You've got the US, which is really focused on building the smartest robot with the most advanced AI. Then you have China, which is all about building the most robots. They're aiming for huge scale and low cost. Meanwhile, Japan and South Korea are using their deep history in robotics for service and healthcare, while Europe is prioritizing this super careful, safety-first integration into industries. So the American approach, led by companies like Tesla and Figure AI, it's all about capability.
The whole strategy is to win by creating the smartest, most adaptable robot you can imagine, one that can hopefully tackle the most complex jobs right from day one.
China's strategy, on the other hand, is all about scale. By focusing on mass production and just making them affordable, they're looking to dominate the market through pure volume. In fact, some reports are already suggesting China accounted for over 80% of all humanoid robot shipments in 2025. This is setting up a classic battle: advanced capability versus mass availability.
All of this technology is absolutely incredible, but, it leads us to the single most important question of all. What does this mean for us, for human workers, and for our entire economy?
And this right here, this might be the single most disruptive detail of this entire story. Tesla's target price for one of these robots is somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. Just let that sink in for a second. Cheaper than a new car. A company will be able to buy a tireless, multi-skilled worker for less than the cost of a Toyota Camry. At that price point, the entire economic equation for millions of jobs begins to change. And I mean, change dramatically. The promise, of course, is immense. You could solve labor shortages, take people out of dangerous jobs, and boost productivity like crazy. But the peril is just as real. We're talking about the potential for huge job displacement, the challenge of making sure these things are safe to be around, and this fundamental need to redefine what work even means for people. Look, this technology is coming, whether we're ready for it or not. So the real question is no longer if we can build them. The question is, how are we going to choose to live and work alongside them? What new jobs, what new roles will we create for ourselves in a world where our coworkers are made of wires and steel? That is the conversation we all need to start having right now.